So we got a comment on a video, I think a short I did. And the guy was saying that Jim Harbaugh didn't leave Michigan a foundation of any sorts, which I thought was kind of silly. And we found an article on the exact opposite.
Yeah, this article is by Melanie Maxwell. It came out on the January 31st.
January 31st. That was on that, isn't it MGO blog or something like that?
It might have been. This was came through USA Today.
Okay.
But it could have been MGO blog.
Yeah.
But she references Brian Kelly, who is, for example, weeks before Brian Kelly departed Notre Dame for LSU, he denied rumors he had any interest in leaving Notre Dame. No, Kelly said. I mean, look, I think Mike Tomlin had the best line, right? Unless the fairy godmother comes by with that $250 million check, my wife would want to look at that first. I'd have to run it by her. Then, Kelly's players were shocked to see news on social media that Kelly was taking the LSU job. Kelly had a team meeting the next morning at 7 a.m. The Athletics' Pete Sampson reported Kelly's address to the team lasted less than 2 minutes.
Ouch.
Then he turned around and walked out. He did not take questions from players. So, yeah, I mean, that's a jerk move. And Sharon Moore did an interview, was it yesterday, with Rich Eisen?
Oh, I didn't see that one, yeah.
Talking about how Coach Harbaugh was very transparent the whole time, that he had been talking to them for weeks about wanting to go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And was getting Sharon Moore set up the whole time, was talking to the players the whole time, even came back and talked to the players and spent the day with them, I guess. I don't know how long of a time, but it was a lot more than 2 minutes, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
2 minutes. I don't even know what to make of that. Like 2 minutes. So he didn't want to be there then.
Yeah. And I think what we can look at too is Harbaugh left a good foundation in place, because I think so far, only 2 guys have entered the portal.
Yeah.
And they were both, one of them played but was never a starter. Okay. So I think he might have left regardless.
Yeah.
Because he was probably looking for another place to maybe be a starter. So, but we haven't lost any of the key players that we were hoping would come back, other than the ones that graduated. But
right. Well, and that one player that's that's transferring out is Jake Thaw.
Okay.
And I think half the reason he's transferring out is because he was embarrassed, because he was the guy who he fumbled the punt in the Rose Bowl and almost went in the end zone.
Yep.
But he also had the presence of mind, and this is what's important. He had the presence of mind to pick up the ball while 3 huge Alabama players are running at him full bore.
Yep.
He grabs the ball and falls down at like the 2 or the 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Saves the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I understand the mistake of the muff punt.
Yep.
But he has the presence of mind to end up saving the game.
Right.
So, and he beat himself up all over Twitter for that, and yeah, so I don't know. That was really sad.
That's a priceless lesson right there too. Mm-hmm. I mean, he got that at a critical time. He's never going to forget that.
No.
And that's probably going to make him an incredible player wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Because he's got a piece of experience that lasted all of 3 seconds or 2 seconds maybe, that no other player on the team has.
Right.
That proves not only can he think under pressure, but he can act under pressure and immense pressure and immediately.
with stakes like that, for sure too.
I mean, I would hire him in a second. I mean, that's just phenomenal.
We bring this up to say, like, okay, so this commenter was saying that Jim Harbaugh didn't leave Michigan with a foundation. And it's just simply not true. Thank you very much for commenting. We appreciate the engagement. But it's absolutely not true. Jim Harbaugh was essentially grooming Sharon Moore from day one. And I firmly believe that
in an appropriate way.
Yes.
Sorry.
I firmly believe, we're just going to scoot on here. I firmly believe that those first 3 games of the season where Jim Harbaugh were suspended, those were the tryouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sharon Moore had the Bowling Green game, I think. Jesse Minter had a game. I think even Jack Harbaugh had a half of a game at one point.
And Mike Hart.
Mike Hart had a half of a game.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Jay Harbaugh, not Jack.
Didn't Jack have a... Oh, no, Jack was just brought on for something else.
Yeah.
He was made like
Jack,
an
his
assistant.
dad, Jack, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was brought on as the... But yeah, I'm sorry. So Jack was brought on as like the acting coach or whatever, the symbolic sort of position. Although I'm sure he helped out quite a bit. He's obviously a fantastic coach in his own right.
Did you see what he did with the Michigan baseball team a couple days ago?
No.
I guess the Michigan baseball team was practicing or something, and Jack goes running out onto the baseball field and screams, I got one question for you. Who's got it better than us?
The LA Chargers. Oh, sorry.
Oh, crap. No. That was the other thing, too, is the LA Chargers, like, apparently redid their facility or whatever.
Yeah.
And it had all of Harbaugh's sayings on it. Like, who's got it better than us? And attack each day with an enthusiasm. And
he got to take his with him, but how come PJ Fleck didn't get to take his?
He did. He took row the boat.
I thought they wouldn't let him. All right.
They didn't want to let him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they let him.
All right.
Which I'm glad they did. I found out, because I was all upset about that, PJ Fleck taking the row the boat thing from Western Michigan. But I found out that was actually born out of a family tragedy.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was, he can keep
it.
He has my permission.
Here's the other example they have in here as far as leaving a team in shambles versus leaving a team well-founded like Harbaugh did. Lincoln Riley, and this is in what was her name? Melanie Maxwell's article. Then there's Lincoln Riley, who left Oklahoma via plane in the middle of the night to Los Angeles to become USC's next head coach in November of 2021.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple Oklahoma staff members made the plane trip with Riley and became part of his USC staff. Riley then landed 3 Oklahoma players in the transfer portal, including quarterback Caleb Williams. Williams will likely be the number 1 overall pick in the 24 NFL draft. Oklahoma would go on to have an abysmal 22 season after Riley's departure, going 6-7. He didn't even talk to the players. He just got on a plane and left.
Got on a plane in the middle of the night. I remember that because we were at Walmart, where all good Wolverines go.
What's funny too is that as I think about what people have said about Harbaugh, like people who know him and like him, have said that he may very well be clinically insane. And it's funny because it's just when he does interviews, this is why I've appreciated Sharon Moore already, because when Sharon Moore does an interview, he's coherent.
He doesn't say weird things.
He doesn't say weird things. Harbaugh was always like he looked so uncomfortable. No, he didn't look uncomfortable giving the interviews, but he sounded uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he would say weird things. But then apparently he had no problem talking to the players, talking to the other coaches, no problem, in person and all that, which, I get.
Yeah.
And the players have talked about how much they love him. I mean, to the point where he's like a father figure to them.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think it's pretty cool that it's fascinating that Harbaugh is that kind of a character, that he can be perceived as clinically insane on one side and then a father figure on the other side. And it's the same guy. He's just an absolute competitor. It's why I wish he hadn't left Michigan, but like we've said, you can't hold a guy like that back, and it would be wrong to do so.
Yeah.
If you held Harbaugh back, if Harbaugh was offered that job and at the Chargers and didn't take it because nobody would let him leave, I think what you then have is essentially a caged animal.
Yeah.
And he's going to feel trapped, and 24 would be a horrible season.
Well, yeah, I mean, Michigan would never be the same.
Right.
So the national team's got the ball back. That's going to be pass interference on the defense here.
Man, that would have been a beautiful catch, though.
Maybe. Is that not pass interference on that?
Apparently he didn't hear the rule about not touching certain areas of your body while on the camera.
Oh, can we make that joke? That's Bill Cosby.
That's all right.
Oh.
The joke is still funny.
I think that was pass interference. That probably should have been called.